The banana handstand. The worst technique of all time. You should never do banana handstand. Handstand must be straight. Closed shoulders and arched back. No. Conjures dark thoughts. So the banana handstand is being vilified a lot right now in the world of handstands. Yes, the line is important. Yes, you should work towards a straight handstand because it is mechanically better. But remember, it's not the only solution. And I want to talk about a specific case of why you would actually want to use the banana handstand as part of a progression. So let's talk a bit about shoulder flexibility. Basically, the straight handstand that you see in the textbooks, not everyone will be able to get it, and it really depends on how flexible your shoulders are. So, basic test. I'm kneeling. You can do it kneeling, standing. Put your arms over your head, right? So can you get your arms vertical is number one. Can you do that without arching your back is number two. Can you keep your arms shoulder width? Can you keep your elbows straight? If you're having trouble answering yes to any of this, it means you could work more on your shoulder flexibility, but it also means that you may have to compromise your form in your handstand. And there's nothing wrong with that. Remember, it doesn't have to be this. Everybody has a different body type. Everybody's shoulders work a bit differently. The most important thing is that you can find stability, you can do it safely, and that you can hold your handstand, right? Because that's the whole point of doing handstands is that you can do it by yourself. So what if if your shoulder flexibility is here, you don't need to do handstands yet. You need to work through getting healthier shoulders. But let's say you're somewhere here. Let's say you have overhead range of motion. You can put your arms over your head, but you can't quite get into this position. So what should you do? First off, you should continue working on your shoulder flexibility. You should continue working on the basic form of the line, but that doesn't mean you have to not do handstands. So here's what happens, because this ribs in cue is this huge obsession, and I get a lot of questions on it. The ribs in, right? This is how we get our handstand straight. But it's not the only thing that makes our handstand straight. It's that the ribs in has to coincide with the shoulders open. So what ends up happening in this specific scenario, if someone has shoulders that are here and they do ribs in, it forces them to go into planche. I'll see if I have a good angle to show you. So if my shoulders are closed like this and I pull my ribs in, look what happens to my position, right? I'm leaning, I'm not vertical. So if I have trouble opening my shoulders all the way, what's a solution to get better mechanical efficiency? I don't have too many rules as far as what a handstand is supposed to be, other than that you hold yourself up. But this, for me, is one of the really important ones, is that the arms, when you look from the side, or from the front as well, should be vertical to the floor. So, basically, if my arms go forward like this, I'm putting unnecessary stress on my wrist and on my shoulders that I don't need to do, and long term it might cause a bit of pain or potential injury. I have a video on this about the fixing the mini planche, so you can check that out if you scroll through the account. But the point is that if I can't open my shoulders enough to pull my ribs in and to get a straight line, I think the lesser evil, if it's an evil at all, is to allow the back to arch so that the arms can still be vertical. And again, some people will have to do this because there are people that won't be able to get their shoulders open based on their structure. People who are just stiff can work through stretching their shoulders and getting more flexible and eventually straightening out their line. But this is a solution, and again, it allows me to still keep my arms vertical and still find a resting position, even though my back is arched. Now, I'm not arching all the way, so I can arch to a point where I feel compression in my lower back. Yeah, I don't want this. I'm still maintaining length. It's just that I'm allowing the compensation to still create a position that I can rest, that I don't have to work super hard in the shoulders, that I don't have to have excess pressure on the wrist. One other variation of this, it's kind of, continues going into that broken line segment, but again, it's a way to find a resting position with what you have, is I can have the legs going towards the back, but then if I'm working one arms, for example, it won't be as easy to control. So what I can also do is close the hip angle a little bit, and then it's kind of approximating a straight line, but I won't be able to get a fully straight line until my shoulders are open. But it's a way to still understand the vertical line of force with the, the attributes and assets that I have. So that's going to look something like this. So a little bit closed shoulders, a little bit arched back, and a little bit pike of the legs. Of course, it's not an ideal position, but compared to this, way better. Right? Do you see the difference? So ideally, we want to be, somewhere here, open shoulders, pulling the ribs in, all of this stuff. But if my shoulders can't open, do you see how that compensation works? So this is a case for when the arch handstand is okay. Hand balancing is about doing handstands. You won't find perfection, and sometimes you have to be a little bit clever finding these workarounds instead of just following everything by the book. So again, just something to think about. Eventually, yes, we do want a straight handstand because it's better for a lot of reasons, but don't think that it's the only way. Don't think that you're going to have a straight handstand right away. It's going to take time to build up to it because it's not a natural thing. And there are a lot of stepping stones within that progression that can help you understand overall the position better. So I hope this makes you think about things a bit differently. I hope it's helpful. Let me know what else you want to see on this channel. Let me know what you think about the potential use of banana handstands versus straight handstands, and I'll see you next time.